So today is an off day from the gym, and instead of vlogging this sort of boring day, I figured I might as well finally do the 10,000 subscriber Q&A that I said I was gonna do back in June. So let's answer some of these questions. First question comes from Leo Sal. I hope I pronounced that right. You have 10 fish, 5 drown, 3 come back to life. How many fish do you have? I don't think fish can drown. I think you tried to trick me there. So touche, sir. Touche for trying to trick me. Next question comes from Saul Armijo, and he says, congrats on 10,000. Thank you, Saul. I hope I pronounced your name right. My question is, what should I eat when doing a fasting diet? I think the first suggestion I'd have for you, Saul, would be to drink plenty of water and think about supplementing with caffeine. Either drink coffee or green tea. Because I've done fasting diets in the past, and the hardest part is not eating all day. So if you can somehow curb your hunger, that is like the hardest part of doing a fasting diet. Besides that, I would recommend just having a balanced diet. Make sure you get in enough vitamins and minerals in your diet and eat whatever you want, but make sure you're in a caloric deficit. So the next question comes from Dita Para, and they say, what is your opinion on the best approach to a diet? If it fits your macros, eating full clean, vegan, paleo, or just eating an overall balanced, healthy diet with some stuff in between. Dita, I don't think there's a best approach necessarily to dieting. I think the best approach is the approach that works for you. Whatever works for you in terms of adhering to your overall macro and calorie goals. Because at the end of the day, you have to be in a caloric deficit to lose weight. So if being a paleo is something you enjoy doing, then be a paleo, but understand that being a paleo itself isn't going to help you lose weight. You have to track your calories. You have to be in a caloric deficit. Edgar Rosales asks, I want to know how to track food more accurately. I mean, do you track it when it's raw or when it's cooked? Because depending on your cooking method, the caloric value changes, and I'm a little confused with this. And if it's better to count it when it's raw, that's going to make it harder to track when meal prepping. Thanks and congrats on your growth on YouTube. Edgar, my tip and what I usually like to do is weigh everything raw unless it's meat. Meat, I'm usually weighing after I cook it because kind of like what you said, if you cook the hell out of meat and you really overcook it, it's obviously gonna be a lot less calories than meat that was appropriately cooked. So just keep that in mind when you're tracking your macros. Brockway Babe asks, what made you decide to start a YouTube channel and what is your all-time favorite recipe that you've made? So to answer your first question, the reason why I started the YouTube channel was actually because of my knee injury. I had surgery on my knee and they told me, you're not gonna be able to work out for a month. And I thought to myself, if I can't work out for a month, I'm gonna go crazy without some type of an outlet. So I just thought, you know what? I love food. I've been tracking macros for 3.5 years. I've got all these great recipes. I need some type of an outlet because I'm not gonna be able to work out. Doing a YouTube channel would be a fun way to kind of get through this knee injury. And I had done a YouTube channel back in 2011. I made, I think, over 100 videos on that channel, but I stopped it and I realized I kind of missed it. So those two things kind of combined into starting this channel. And as far as my all-time favorite recipe goes, my all-time favorite recipe is easily the chocolate donut recipe I made a while back. It's 125 calories a donut. And even if you turn it into a cake, you don't have a donut pan, it's like a 700 calorie chocolate cake. It's unbelievable. And I really should make it soon. If you haven't made it yet and you're watching this, go find that recipe. I'll put it in the video description. Oh my God. Thank me later. REA says, where is your restaurant? What is its name? And what cuisine does it have? RE, my restaurant is located in Buffalo, New York, but we do have 11 locations. So they're all kind of spread out. We have 1 in Dallas, we have 1 in Georgia, we have 3 in Toronto, then we have 6 kind of all in the Western New York area. The name of my restaurant is Duff's Famous Wings, and we serve mainly chicken wings, but the cuisine would be probably like stereotypical American food, pub food, burgers, sandwiches, wraps. Lena Starkus asks, and I'm sure I just screwed up your name, so I apologize. If you had to choose one junk food to eat for the rest of your life, what would you choose? I would choose cereal. If I'm just choosing like a food in general, I would eat the entire, like I'm trying to do on the vlogs, eat the entire cereal aisle. But if I had to just choose like one cereal, I think I'd get bored of one cereal. So I'd pick like vanilla ice cream and then I'd be able to put all different kinds of toppings on it. You can even make like milkshakes out of vanilla ice cream. So I know that sounds boring, but I think it's very versatile, and that's why I'd pick vanilla ice cream. Quinn Henson asks, does your fiance diet with you? And there's like 5 Ds. How do you deal with friends and social gatherings while on a diet? First question, no, Alyssa does not diet with me. She eats pretty much whatever she wants, and she's 100 pounds. How do I deal with friends and social gatherings while on a diet? I think that's what's great about If It Fits Your Macros, is that you can fit anything really into your diet. It just takes planning. So that's how I deal with friends or social gatherings. I plan for the event ahead of time. Matei Chung, and I'm sure I just screwed up your name, so I apologize to you too, my bro. He says, how often do you eat the sweet recipes you have? The cakes, the brownies, the muffins, the mug cakes. When did I start training, and did I play any sports in high school or when I was younger? So to answer your first question, I actually don't make the older recipes all that often. If you've been watching the vlogs, then you've probably noticed that. And that's because I'm usually working on new recipes in anticipation of coming out with new content for you guys. Although it's nice having a website where all my recipes are on. That way I can just type something in if I do get a hankering for it, and I've got a great macro-friendly recipe at like my fingertips. So I do really like that about having this channel. I started training when I was in 10th grade, but seriously training, I'd say like 18 years old. So I've been seriously training for 10 years, because the first 2 years I probably just did a lot of arms and chest and didn't really deadlift or squat. As far as sports, I played a lot of sports. I bowled, I played football, I played baseball, I played golf. I think that was it for school. Hannah Berlin doesn't ask a question. She just says, I remember when you had less than 100 subs. Thank you for being a subscriber for so long, Hannah. She says, congrats, and you'll be at 100,000 in no time. I don't know if I'll be at 100,000 in no time, but it would be really cool to have that many subscribers. Zoe Carr says, my question is, where do you find inspiration for your recipes? I find inspiration for my recipes in a lot of different places. I might see something in a magazine or in a cookbook or online, but a lot of times it's just like I'm having a craving for something and I'm like, I need to make this macro friendly. How can I do that? And that's where a lot of the inspiration comes from. Shrew Tran says, did you go to culinary school? No, Shrew, I did not go to culinary school. I don't know if you can tell by the recipes. I try to keep things as basic as possible on this channel. And I think that's what's also great about the channel, is that like anybody can make these recipes. They're all pretty much like no fail. It's really, really tough to screw them up. Patricia Deblas? Patricia, I'm sorry for screwing up your name. Anyways, Patricia asks, when you started working out, were you bulking up or trimming down, and what are your current macros? Patricia, I actually started dieting when I was 14 years old. And at the time, the internet, it wasn't filled with all of the great information that it's filled with now. This is like 2002, smartphones didn't even exist then. And my dad was doing the Atkins diet. I asked him what I should do. He was like, well, you should do the Atkins diet. Terrible decision. Don't recommend any high schoolers doing the Atkins diet, but that's what I did. I was slimming down. I did lose a pretty good amount of weight. My goal, like I think a lot of high schoolers have, was to get a six-pack, and I was close. I got really, really thin, but I don't think I ever saw a six-pack. My current macros, 50 grams of fat, 350 grams of carbs, and 220 grams of protein. Crumella Monster 13 asks, what do you think are the 3 most important values to look out for in life? Like, what advice would you give? Smiley face. Number one, my number one value is honesty. I think people like people who are honest. I think dishonest people are not enjoyable to be around. I don't like to associate with dishonest people. As far as value number 2, I think passion is something that people don't think about enough. Sometimes people do things for money instead of things that they love. And at least for me, money, having material things, isn't really something that I care about. I care more about doing something that I love and something that I enjoy. And I think ultimately you're more successful if you follow things that you're passionate about. So just having passion and having the courage to follow whatever you're passionate about, even if it means maybe you have to do something, like work a job, have a 9 to 5, but also do a 6 to 12. So like this is like a passion thing for me. But the chicken wing thing, that's more of a pay the bills type of a thing. Value number 3, I think, is self-awareness. I think a lot of people think they know themselves, but they really don't. And I think people think they know what they want, but they really don't. The only way to get what you want is to know what you want and then to work backwards from there. And I mean like with crystal clear clarity, know exactly what you want from something. I hope that made sense. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the Q&A today. I hope it was enjoyable. If you didn't have a chance to ask me a question because you didn't know about the 10,000 subscriber Q&A, just leave a question in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer them in the next Q&A video. Have a good day, guys.